Lordy, look who's 40, Troy. The Gong Show, episode 40. We're over the hill.
We're officially old.
How many more episodes till we're good at this, do you think?
Like 1,000.
400. We have a huge show today, so we're going to get going quickly here. Before Troy starts with the game plan, just want to remind everyone, the Hockey Cards Gong Show is a Patreon podcast. We rely on your support to help us cover expenses, continue to produce more and hopefully better hockey card content, and help us fund initiatives to grow the hobby even in a small way. Right now, you can take advantage of our 99 tier through Patreon, be one of the first 99 supporters ever and forever have that title. You'll also get exclusive access to the Gong Show Discord and be able to talk with us on the regular, get input into the show. We do have one new patron from last episode. That is Mile High Wax Box OG. Thank you very, very much for supporting us. We appreciate it. And be sure to check him out on Whatnot. I think he breaks on there. And hey, if you want to join our Patreon, we'll give you a little bit of shout out, and happy to do that. So Mile High Wax Box OG, check him out on Whatnot. All right, Troy, let's roll with the game plan.
All right, on today's show, we begin with the greatest player to wear number 40. Next, we take a quick look at Alex Ovechkin's and his quest to break Gretzky's goal record. How many empty netters can he get? We will find out. We then announce a new partnership and a deal for our podcast listeners. From there, we take a look at what exactly are the most important hockey cards for a player. Then it's off to movers and shakers, followed by hobby news. And we end the show by looking at the PWCC December Premier Auction, new product releases, and everyone's favorite mailbag. All right, Josh. Okay. Number 40. We hinted at him last week. It is Henrik Zetterberg. So if anyone was cheating and looked at the list on the Hockey Writers website, you saw it was coming. And this guy, to me, is most famous for being in one of my clear-cut boxes that I bought, 3 months ago? And for me getting the exact price of the box by selling his card. So I made $0 on it, but I didn't lose anything. So that's good. All right.
That was a red ink.
Red ink, right? Out of 40. And yeah, I can't remember what number I had. I want to say it was like 13, maybe. 13 out of 40. It was like,
okay.
So something I can remember. But anyways, Henrik Zetterberg, left winger. He played 1,082 regular season games over a 15-year NHL career. Again, this is another cool guy. Played his whole entire career with the Detroit Red Wings. He was a one-time Stanley Cup winner in 2007-08. He was on the 2002-03 All-Rookie team. He was the 2007/08 Conn Smythe winner. He was the 2014-15 Clancy Award winner, which again is given to the player who best exemplifies leadership qualities on and off the ice and has made a noteworthy humanitarian contribution in his community. So you're basically a really good guy if you win this award, I guess. He was the captain for his final 6 years with Detroit. And now Josh's favorite, he is a member of the Triple Gold Club, which means he has won an Olympic gold medal, a World Championship gold medal, and a Stanley Cup, which Josh is furious at because that's not gold.
Well, let's go through it. Olympic gold medal, World Championship gold medal, Silver Stanley Cup, but that's somehow triple gold.
Yep, the Triple Gold Club.
I do have an observation for you on the whole Detroit thing. Is it just me, or do they seem to lead the league in really good players / legendary players that tend to play their entire career there?
Maybe, but I don't know if that's just recency bias, because like some of the players we've looked at for this segment, I think actually have been. Well, maybe not. I'm just thinking, I don't know. I have no clue. But it does seem like we talk about a lot of players and they've spent their whole entire career with Detroit.
That's so.
All right. During his career in the regular season, he had 337 goals, 623 assists for 960 points. Made the playoffs in 13 of his 15 seasons in the NHL. 137 games played with 57 goals and 63 assists for 120 points. He is obviously known for his playoff prowess. He was a gamer. He always came to play. He obviously won the Conn Smythe Trophy one time in the year that the Wings won the Cup. He's also known for being one of the smartest hockey players ever. If you read former teammates or GMs and they talk about Zetterberg, it's always talking about how smart he was, or his hockey IQ, as we like to say. Very skilled with the puck, rarely would turn it over. Forced into retirement due to the nagging back issues, and it's actually, he has a degenerative back condition, so I don't know where that's put him right now if he's got that under control, but he's one of those guys that was actually forced into retirement because he could have probably kept playing. But Father Time always catches up to these players. I have a lot of fun facts about Henrik Zetterberg. Let's start with this one. Nicknames. We like nicknames. His nicknames are Hank and Zeta, which is Swedish for Z. So I only heard this Hank one. I haven't heard the Zeta one, which is the Swedish one. Probably called that by his Swedish teammates. Zetterberg held the NHL record for most shots on goal in a single postseason with 116 in 2007-2008, the year he won the Conn Smythe. However, he was recently surpassed by Nathan MacKinnon, who had 117 shots on goal in the 2022 NHL Stanley Cup playoffs. This is one of those I'm really glad I did research, because if you read Wikipedia, someone hasn't updated the Wikipedia site that says he holds the record, Zetterberg does. And I was thinking, I'm like, nope, I better go look. This seems like one of those things that there's probably someone that's passed him. And I'm actually glad I did, because it was just this year.
So you're saying the internet lied to you?
Yeah. Well, I will say this. I double check every single Wikipedia fact I ever see just to make sure, because you just never know at that site. Sometimes stuff gets stale. All right. He was the 7th round pick in 1999. He was the 210th overall pick. Only 2 players in that draft played more games than Zetterberg. Those would be his Swedish countrymen, Daniel and Henrik Sedin. So I thought that was kind of interesting.
Is Henrik a real common name in Sweden, do you think?
I know, going back to Troy's life, I actually played hockey over in Sweden as a kid, and I stayed with the player's name, I think was Henrik Holmgren, or maybe that was the dad, but his dad was on the 1980 Swedish Olympic team, and they got the bronze, where the U.S. won the miracle on ice. But yeah, and his name was Henrik, but I can't remember now if that was the dad or the kid. But anyways, so Henrik, I think, is pretty common. All right, on September 14th, 2018, Red Wings general manager Ken Holland announced that, well, this isn't very fun.
Yeah,
this is bad on me. Here's what happened. He basically had the degenerative back condition, so he announced his retirement in 2018. However, he had 3 years left on his contract that he didn't officially retire until his contract was over. So good for him for getting paid. That's why I kind of enjoyed that one.
So Detroit did him a big time solid.
Yeah, I think they did a big solid by. Listen, I'm sure they have an insurance policy on this. These teams aren't dumb. Like, they have insurance policies on all these players, so I'm sure that's how they got it paid out, and kind of made sense. But obviously, I thought that should be more of an interesting fact, not a fun fact.
You're going to need so many levels of facts going forward.
I love facts. Hey, it's fun. Facts are fun. Okay, his rookie card, 2002-03 Upper Deck Young Guns. All right, this thing, PSA 10, has a pop of 93. The most current sale I could find was for $915 on November 27th, 2022. It was an eBay auction. All right, now here's one where the BGS has a lot more. The BGS 9.5 has 193 population count. And the most recent sale for that one was on December 1st, 2022 for $415. And this one, I believe the term is True Gem Mint, where it was 9.5 and all 4 subgrades were 9.5. Yep. So I still think that's pretty interesting. The PSA 10 went for more than double that in a relatively close time frame to it.
915 is a big number for that PSA 10.
Yeah, well, I was really surprised even that clear cut I sold got the price it did. I didn't know if Zetterberg had a big fan base or a following, so it seems like, the pop 93 on that Young Guns PSA 10 is pretty low. That's a good price.
So, like, when you were going through his career stats, right? 337 goals, 623 assists, 960 points. You know what the first player that came to my mind was?
What, Pavel Dmitriuk, because he had 300 goals?
No, it made me think like a Panarin type stats.
It could be. Yeah, it could be.
Right, and just it's crazy that he has such a basis of hobby value, I guess, for lack of a better way to put it.
Yeah.
But, good for him.
Good for him. So that's it. Henrik Zetterberg.
All right, so we are recording this episode on Wednesday night, of course. Last night, Troy, was a boring night in the NHL. Not really. So Tuesday night, Alexander Ovechkin, Troy, proved he can still score against goalies.
I think it's boring. I want him to get empty net goals the rest of the way. Just big F you to everyone and just say, I am going to just score empty net goals. This is how we're going to do it.
So if you haven't seen anything hockey related in 48 hours, I'm sure everyone knows that he had a hat trick last night against the Chicago Blackhawks. Prior to that, though, his 4 previous goals were all empty netter.
I love it. Any way to get that record.
Does he just sit at the red line in the last 2 minutes of the game?
He can't help it. His coach puts him on the ice. Is the empty net. He's got to take advantage of it. Even though the one he scored, the other team wasn't very happy. I don't know. I saw a little bit of the highlight. I think he just kind of slapped it in and then went to the boards and got shoved, and then there was a little hoopla. But
so if you're on the ice with Ovechkin and there's an empty net situation and you don't pass to him at this point, is that big time taboo, do you think?
I don't know. I wonder what's going to happen if he keeps getting like these opportunities. Is he going to stop taking the shot? Because they'll say, oh, it's tainted. Because he's almost, I didn't look, you might say this, but I think he's almost tied now with Gretzky for most empty net goals. And you got to remember, Gretzky probably has played what?
Not as many more games as you would think.
Because I know Ovechkin he's had 2 work stoppages, right, during his career. And maybe Gretzky did too. Maybe he had one of them. But
he had the pandemic too.
Yeah, and a pandemic. So, okay.
He has 53 empty net goals, I want to say, and Gretzky had 56.
Okay.
But I'm just going off of memory there. So all I had to do is threaten a congressional investigation, of course, and he scores a hat trick, scores 3 goals, giving him 800 last night, putting him 1 behind from tying Gordie Howe for number 2 all time. Of course, Troy, it also makes him only the 3rd player in NHL history to score 800 goals. So the 800 club. What was that Pat Robertson deal? Was that the 700 club?
Oh, God, is that the religious thing?
Yeah.
Send me your money and I'll send you this holy water or something. Yeah, I don't know what it was. 700 club. I don't know.
So how do you rank him getting to 800? Where does that? Is that a huge deal?
I think it's a huge deal.
A big deal. Yeah.
I think it's a huge deal just from the fact we like round numbers. We like big round numbers. And to make him the 3rd highest ever score, and he's going to be 2, hopefully. Either, I don't know. They don't play tonight, do they? Are they going to play?
I don't think so.
Are we going to have to hit a button and play like a big sound if he scores his 801st goal tonight? But obviously, I believe he should pass Gordie Howe in the next week or 2.
Oh, you would think so.
Yeah, I think it's a huge deal. I think it's awesome.
What I thought was interesting, so I watched 2 full periods of the game last night, and it was aired on ESPN, and it reminded me of when Barry Bonds and Sammy Sosa were chasing the home run record. They had a continuous graphic on the bottom of the screen with his career goals 100% of the time. And it's like, man, this is just going to get more and more and more amped up. I mean, I don't think they'll do that continuous graphic cut-in thing.
No, I doubt it.
Once he passes Howe, because it'll be a bit before he gets to Gretzky. But it was kind of crazy. Well,
I think it's crazy too. It's like, when you bring up Sosa and Bonds, obviously that's all tainted by steroids, and I feel like hockey's avoided that kind of stuff, even though I'm sure it's happened. I know they had a lot of drug problem with painkillers and all that stuff, but it's interesting to see how hockey's kind of in a different light right now.
So I think this is a good opportunity to look at sort of the timeline and where he's at in relation to getting to 895. 95 goals away from breaking Gretzky's NHL record for career goals. So far this season, Troy, he has 20 goals in 31 games. His goals pace for the season as of today is 53 if he played all 82 games. Assuming for a minute that he does get 53, that would put him at 833 at the end of the season, which would be 61 away from tying Gretzky and 62 from owning the record. So realistically, it would be the earliest the end of next year, or probably the first quarter or third of a season in 2024, 2025, unless he drops off or something happens. I also think, Troy, it's worth mentioning that this level of production at 37 years old is insane and almost completely unprecedented.
Along those lines, I was going to say one thing that I just looked up, because when you start talking about his next season, just so everyone doesn't freak out, the CBA that they signed is good through the 25-26 season. So there shouldn't be a work stoppage in between here, because you never know what's going on with that stuff.
Wouldn't that be nutty if that derailed?
Well, I mean, realistically, he hasn't been through a pandemic, a lockout, and I can't remember what else was in there, but he might be already past the record. Who knows? I mean, obviously, Gretzky's got affected by stuff, injuries, all that stuff can happen. But it's just, it's one of those another what ifs if those work stoppages weren't around.
So again, continuing to honor Ovi's 800, joining the 800 club. I did some fun facts, Troy.
Nice. Fun facts is where it's at.
If you recall, Ovi was drafted number 1 in 2004. He made his NHL debut on October 5th, 2005, and immediately scored 2 goals in his first game. He scored 52 goals in his rookie season. That's not bad. This is his 18th season. In his first 17 years, he's averaged, Troy, just under 46 goals per season.
It's pretty good.
His lowest goal total in a season was 32 in both 2010 and 2012. I'm not counting the 24.
No, yeah, don't count the pandemic.
In the short, because the pandemic season barely had many games. His highest goal total in a season was 65 goals in 2007. He scored 50 or more goals in a season 9 times, for all you Ferris Bueller fans. That's tied with Gretzky for most all time. Again, he's pacing for 53 this year, so that could be another record he could break on his quest for 895. How do you like those fun facts? Did I do good?
I like those. Those are fun facts. You didn't bring up like any of his Russian ties to Putin or that.
No.
No. I think he's behind trying to keep Kirill over in Russia during his gulag days, but no, I'm just kidding.
Okay, I have a couple other questions I want to run by you on Ovi. Let's revisit Mount Rushmore, the Gong Show Mount Rushmore for hockey cards and all-time great players. So this summer when we did the whole Mount Rushmore exercise, we ended up with Gretzky, Orr, Howe, and Lemieux, right? As our Mount Rushmore. My question to you, Troy, is does Ovi now, or can you see him in the near future, threaten any of these spots in your mind now that he's got into the mythical 800 goal mark?
See, this is where people are just going to get mad. Yes, I do think he threatens. Do I think he overtakes? I'm not sure. To me, it would be either... Oh, this is going to get bad.
Okay, who's
I
the
would
most
say Lemieux or Howe. I would say he threatens, but that's almost sacrilege to say Howe. I think Lemieux is probably the most... I don't know. What's the word I'm looking for? Most like...
Oh, the weakest link?
Could be knocked off, but...
Yeah.
Then, I mean, we had people... Like, we've had people in comments, I can't remember what exactly was posted, but talking about Lemieux and how he doesn't get, like, for some reason, like Lemieux, I feel at times doesn't get respect, or people think he doesn't get enough respect. So I don't know. This would be another good research project if he gets there to see if we revisit our Mount Rushmore, and do we have to get the dynamite out and blow up one of them and then chisel a new one in there.
I think the recency bias thing is going to be a factor, too, because we're headed for a full year and a half OV parade that is going to be nothing but people throwing flowers at him all over the place. So that's going to rub off, I think, on everyone to some extent. Okay, next question, Troy. Who, in your mind, is most likely to be the 4th member of the 800 Club? Mo Sider? Is that too soon? Is that too soon?
Well, that's a shot. Shot of the bow at Mo. All you Mo Sider fans, you better write in or start pinging Josh with your hate mail. That's cold.
Okay, well, I'll help you out a little bit. All right, so I looked up active players that
give me a list. Give me a list.
40.
Yeah.
That have a lot of goals, and the list is not going to be really surprising, although there are a couple kind of interesting things in this. So Leon Draisaitl is 27. He has 275 career goals. He would need to average 44 goals per season until the age of 39 to get to 800. Austin Matthews has 1 goal less than Draisaitl. He has 274. He's only 25, though, so he's 2 years younger. Same thing, needs to average 44 goals until age 37, which seems a tad more likely. And then Connor McDavid here, has 265 career goals at age 25. Pretty much the same thing, needs to average 44 goals until age 37. Now, before you answer, I have a tangent question. Does it surprise you that Draisaitl has more career goals than McDavid, even though we know he's played one more season?
It does. I would say it does. And I actually thought McDavid's career goals looked low. I just when I first saw it, it's like, wow, that's it. But again, it's not like I followed career McDavid totals that much, but that's pretty interesting.
Okay, so we got to narrow this down. Number 1, do you agree with my list of Draisaitl, Matthews, or McDavid?
Yeah, I mean, if you looked it
up,
those
are the most likely.
Yeah, I'll agree with it.
To get to 800.
Yep.
Of those 3, if we had to say who's going to be the fourth person to get there, who would you guess?
I would say McDavid. It's going to be. I think he's so good that even if you got rid of Draisaitl, he's got so much skill that he's going to keep generating goals, I think, wherever he is. I don't know if he stays in Edmonton his whole career or what happens with him. He's just got that skill set to keep scoring goals. So I'm going to say McDavid.
I would say, to me, it'd be either Matthews or McDavid, but probably McDavid. So I tend to agree with you there. Okay, let's do a quick Ovi hockey cards update. So I just checked, and it's about 7 o'clock Central Time right now when we're recording on the 14th. Since last night, about 134 Ovi cards have sold on secondary markets. So again, within a day after reaching 800. Last month, Troy, 1,216 Ovi cards sold the entire month of November. So about 10% of last month's sale, a little bit more, are in the last day. Not totally unexpected, right? People were all in their feels last night after hitting that big milestone. One thing that's kind of interesting, though, is where we've seen a lot of these big kind of meteoric jumps for whether it be Jason Robertson or Tage Thompson or to some extent Dylan Cousins lately, or Cousins. Not a lot of big cards. There's a lot of little cards being sold. Mm-hmm. There was one Young Gun PSA 10 that sold on the last day that I saw, and that's a pop 1,078, sold for $4,999 US. It was on the night of the 13th. Prior sale to that was $4,200 US, so a little bit of a bump there. Overall, though, his Young Gun PSA 10 is still down about 7%, Troy, in the last 3 months.
Yeah, I'm guessing. I mean, the record breaking and where he's at right now is all kind of, I think, baked in. I think it might have a little more room to grow if he gets near Gretzky's record. Because right now, I think the 800 and Gordie Howe is kind of built in. So that's just my opinion.
Yeah, fair point. All right. So there's our little more of an extended Ovi watch for the show today. But obviously, it's a big deal getting to 800. All right. We are super excited and pleased to announce a new Gongshow partner, Stand Up Displays. If you're not familiar with them, they make card stands that are very awesome to take photos with or to display in your house. They have a number of pre-made designs, but they also do custom ones, which we had some made for the Gong Show. It's a very entrepreneurial company run by husband and wife, Dan and Kaylee. One of the things that I think is really important, and I want to mention about people like Stand Up, or even to a certain extent, Troy, PWCC, that these are companies that are supporting hockey card content producers and people. There's not a lot of companies out there doing that right now, and because they believe in our hobby. To some extent, I guess it means they believe in us, which is humbling in of itself. But, we're really grateful that they want to see the hobby grow and thrive too. And Dan is a hockey player, is a goalie. So, Troy, you guys will have a lot in common. One of the things, too, that's really important to us when we bring on partners is, and we talk with these people about sort of an equitable exchange in value and that everyone needs to benefit. And the people at Stand Up Displays are definitely on board with that. And so for any Gong Show listener, we encourage you to go check out their website at standupdisplays.co. And if you want to have a custom stand built or buy one of their pre-made ones, if you use the code GONGSHOW, you will save 10%. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and
link is in the show description.
Yeah, and we had a couple made for us, and if you look at our Instagram post, I think Josh, you posted one. Yeah, you posted a card that's on the stand now, so you can see what ours looks like. And again, it's 10% off if you use GONGSHOW, all one word. I have it listed in all caps. Does it need to be in all caps?
No.
All right. But it has to be GONGSHOW, one word. So GONGSHOW. That's the code. Get 10% off. So we appreciate them offering that to our listeners as well.
All right. And we're going to work with them more in the future and kind of do some interesting stuff with them. But welcome to the Gong Show family, Stand Up Displays, and thank you for your support. We just wanted to acknowledge them quickly. All right. So here's kind of an interesting, I guess, segment, Troy, that I think about a lot. And I hope this resonates with other people as well. I don't know, maybe for some of the diehard, big-time, old hat collectors, whatever you want to call you folks that know a hell of a lot about this hobby, more than we do, for sure. This may seem rudimentary to you, but I also think a lot about, Troy, how we have lots of new people that reach out to us that are just getting into collecting. And so one of the things we try to do is sort of cover all of our bases here, I guess, and appeal to everyone. And so we want to talk about what we think are the 3 most important hockey cards for any player. Kind of how this came to be is we sort of have made an assumption around that, and we wanted to do a segment kind of debating what the 4th and 5th would be, and then thought, well, we should probably discuss and gain consensus and at least explain our rationale around the first 3 before we move on to 4 and 5, and I guess not skip any steps. So those cards that Troy and I kind of refer to as the 3 most important cards are a base Young Gun, Future Watch Auto, and Cup RPA 99. Where this comes into play is we get asked a lot about, I'm a basketball card collector, I'm a baseball card guy, help me understand hockey. And to get people started, a lot of times we'll say, well, there's 3 cards you need to learn about: the base Young Guns, the Future Watch Auto, and the Cup RPA out of 99. Now, I realize that maybe some of these are not your favorite cards, and you may not like to collect them personally, or maybe have some sort of bias against them. And hey, everybody has biases and personal preference. But I think, though, that once we kind of go through our criteria, hopefully most will agree that whether you like them or love them or hate them, these cards are really, really kind of the foundation of the hockey card hobby. Okay, when thinking about this, Troy and I came up with criteria. And Troy, you got to jump in here wherever you think you can chime in. And we thought, okay, well, what makes a hockey card important? And there's, let's say, 5 things, right? General recognition, right? So through all levels of the hobby, does 70, 80%, I don't know what the percentage is, of people know what this card is, have an understanding of its importance, its history, its gravitas, its value in the hockey collecting hobby. Collector desirability, which kind of is pretty obvious, right? Is it's a cool card that in general most people want. The brand history, is there a legacy to this particular card? Is there a slew of hallowed rookies that have had, made iterations of these card types iconic within themselves? Value, which whether you're a PC guy or a hardcore flipper, there's really no way to escape value, because all the best cards and all the biggest cards and the cards everyone wants also tend to be the most valuable, right? So as human beings, we're attracted to things that are scarce and have value. And then consistency, right? Are these cards consistently chased, sought after, and have value for the best players or most promising rookies? Would you add anything to that, Troy?
Nope, that list, I know we've talked about it a lot in the past, but to me, that's our top 5 kind of criteria going forward. So that looks good to me.
Okay, so we have Young Guns, Future Watch Auto, Cup RPA.
Yeah.
Want to go in order and kind of just explain why we think these are the core hockey cards. First, we'll start with Young Guns. I would argue that it's the most recognized hockey card there is. The brand goes back to 1990, which is 32 years now. There's a huge, amazing legacy of players that have had their primary rookies as a Young Guns card. I think, and this is probably one of the hardest things to explain, but I'll try, that it really strikes Troy a good balance between being reasonably accessible, but yet not also in every pack either, right? So if you do the math, there's typically now 50 Young Guns in each flagship set. Pack odds are 1 in 4 to get a Young Gun in a hobby box, at least. I think it's pretty consistent for even retail products that have 8-card packs. So if you're chasing, let's give like the Matty Beniers example, the odds are basically 1 out of 200 packs, or 1 in every 8.33 hobby boxes, which again, reinforce how you got 3 Matty Beniers in 3 straight boxes is
it's like odds. It was the whole, what's the controversy? What's that breaker? The big breakers. Backyard break. And they get all the best boxes. Well, hey, I guess Upper Deck just wants to make sure I have the Matty Beniers boxes.
So they're not like hard to get, but they're not also like Topps Wander Franco rookies where there seems like there's 6 a pack on the baseball side either. And so I think it's actually a pretty decent balance there.
Well, look, we had a listener reach out and say, wondering about my Matty Beniers because he's opened, I don't know what it was, I'll say 2 to 4 hobby boxes and hasn't got one. And instead of buying more hobby boxes, maybe reach out and see if I'd be willing to move one. So yeah, they're definitely not as, they're not super common, but also they're not impossible to get. I think it does. It strikes a nice balance for that card.
Well, and we can also reference Billy Celio from Upper Deck mentioning in our Series 1 discussion for 2022-23 that their kind of goal is in a case you would get all the cards, right? And it sort of makes sense when it's 1 out of every 8.33 hobby boxes, right? I also think, Troy, that Young Guns are reasonably affordable and have value too. Again, it's another one of these balancing acts, right? Where they're not so expensive that nobody can buy them, but they also have a little bit of value too. And I guess if, the last thing I would say is if I had to pick, and I know this will be somewhat controversial because there's a lot of people that don't like Young Guns, but I think it's the most important hockey card there is.
Yeah, I definitely think it's important from that standpoint.
It's not my favorite hockey card.
Nope.
But it's definitely the most important. So anything to add to...
Well, I'll jump in with that. Like, I agree with you 100%. It might not be my favorite. And I also think it's weird that goalies fall under a Young Guns card. It just, that name never has seemed like it should resonate with a goalie, because Young Guns, I think, more of a gun, shooting, shot, scoring, all that stuff. But yeah, I agree that it is.
Well, then Mo Sider shouldn't be a Young Gun either.
Oh, jeez. Oh, boy. Our Detroit fans are just going to go nuts.
For the record, I have a lot of Mo Sider really good cards, so I'm definitely not rooting against him. I just see a shot and I have to take it.
And then what else was I going to say? I think I lost my train of thought. But yeah, I mean, important card. I do wish, and I know this isn't what we're talking about, and I've mentioned this in the past. I've always wondered if they're ever going to release, or have they released? I'm not sure. Kind of like Topps did the cards that never were. Would they ever do a Gretzky Young Guns as like a special insert? And I always thought that'd be an interesting thing, but I don't know if they've done that. I don't think they have. I've never seen it, but obviously I don't know that much, or don't know everything that's been done in the past. But I always thought that'd be cool.
There's also the period with Young Guns that I just don't know enough about, because we were very young into our careers and families, and I guess trying to work with people, or establish our life. But
yeah,
there's a player in Who's Hot who's a rookie in 2007, and there's no Young Guns. So it seems like that early 2000 range, where I don't know how consistent Upper Deck was with the brand, but that's for another day. Okay, so the next card so you and I at least agree that Young Guns is probably the most important hockey card there is. The next one is the Future Watch Auto. And what I put here, Troy, is since Young Guns are 99% not autoed, the caveat here is some like the buyback products you see. I don't know if that's a technicality or what, but I'll throw that technicality in. That, collectors love rookie autos. So it's really opened up the opportunity for a non-Young Gun card, which happens to be the Future Watch Auto, to be the rookie auto in hockey cards. I also know they haven't always been out at $999, but it seems like that's where they're settling, at least for the time being. And to me, just like with the Young Guns, Troy, it's a really good job of like a balancing act where you have accessibility. So it's not out of 10, it's out of 999, and value. I was thinking today, is there another card of any type in any sport or genre, wrestling even, or where it's out of 999 that has more value than a Future Watch Auto? It's kind of crazy to think about.
Well, and you're going to get to it, but especially of those first 50, how they added an additional kind of chase into this 999, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, it's kind of cool strategery, as some people like to say. Yeah, so we talked about the inscribed version. First 50 gives the card an extra element of exclusivity. So I was trying to think of threats a little bit too. To me, the only threat to the Future Watch Auto's prominence in the hockey card collecting universe would be if Upper Deck ever started adding auto parallels to Young Guns in the flagship series. I think that would chop a leg off of the Future Watch Auto, and for that reason, I don't see Upper Deck ever doing that.
No, I think you're 100% right. If they came out with an auto parallel or version of a Young Guns, I don't know, that would, I believe, severely hamper their Future Watch Autos.
Anything else you want to add on the Future Watch Auto? Are we in lockstep here?
Yeah, I'm in lockstep because obviously the Young Guns is kind of the base non-auto card, top rookie card, and now obviously everyone likes rookies. Or autographed rookies. So this is that next step. I don't want to say that's the entry level auto, but I don't know. It's like just the rookie auto that we think of that has value, has some scarcity, is the Future Watch Auto out of SPA.
it seems to be entry level right away for most players. Like you could have gotten a J-Rob
true.
Future Watch Auto in August for pretty cheap. I would guess in the $150 range. Am I crazy there? Or $250 range, something like that. We could go back and look that up. But now that looks pretty dang good.
Yep.
Okay, so the last card is the Cup RP out of 99. This one I actually spent like a lot of time really digging into today, and I want to have somebody on in the future that really kind of understands the zeitgeist around the Cup RPA out of 99 as the most prominent rookie patch auto in hockey, right? So, and when you think of like how these sort of fit into, you have like a base Young Gun, then you add the auto with the Future Watch Auto, now you add the patch with the Cup RP out of 99. So I'll say proof is in the pudding in that McDavid, Crosby, and Ovechkin Cup RPAs out of 99 have all sold for more than 100,000 US. The top selling one was a McDavid Cup RPA out of 99. It sold for 228,000 US this past summer. What's crazy, and this is like one of the weird oddities of the prominence of this card, is that it often sells, or in most cases, sells for way more than the lower number parallels from the same set. So I have an example here. So you have the McDavid Cup RPA to 99 that we already referenced that sold for 228,000 this summer. Well, from the same set, there's a 2015 dual patch auto emblems of endorsement out of 15 that where its high sale is 46,000. That doesn't work for you. You also have a 2015 Cup limited logos RPA at a 50 that has a high sale of 45,000. So 5 times more for a card that's out of 99 versus a card that's out of 15 or a card that's out of 50, and they're all RPAs. And in one case, a dual patch, which is so counterintuitive to everything we learn about sports cards, right? I don't really know if anyone knows exactly why. Maybe it comes back to that balancing act that seems to be here between accessibility and value, right? Where because there's 99, it's not like there's 4.
Yeah.
Right? Where 4 people in the world get to own them. Not that 99 is a lot, but it does give you a little bit more accessibility. From the threat perspective, I think there's a couple to this card. To me, Troy, the biggest threat to the Cup in general is the Exquisite brand. Upper Deck is really sort of stuck between a rock and a hard place when it comes to Exquisite. As a card brand, the value of Exquisite is almost unmatched. Right, the top selling Cup card ever is that McDavid RPA out of 99 for 228,000. The high selling Exquisite card ever is a 2003 LeBron RPA, that rookie that sold for 5.2 million. There have been 29 sales all time of Exquisite cards, Troy, for more than 500,000 US. And so when people say, why doesn't Upper Deck produce an Exquisite set? I think the answer is it would kill the Cup, right? But then on the flip side is, well, how do you not produce Exquisite cards when it's arguably the most valuable card brand ever, right? And so that's where they've been doing a lot of this sort of insert stuff.
Yeah, right now Exquisite's like an insert thing. The brand in hockey is just an insert.
And to show you its power, it is the one Cup card that seems to be able to at least be in the same ballpark as the Cup RPA at 99. So going back to McDavid again, just because it's an easy example, the Exquisite collection RPA out of 97 from 2015 has a high sale of 144,000 US. So again, a lot less than 228, but at least it's in over 6 figures. Anything to add to the Cup RPA out of 99?
No, I just look at, when we talk about the 3 cards, we've talked about the Young Guns, Future Watch Auto, but then it's like, I need this premier version, something like Flawless or National Treasures. And in hockey, it's the Cup that gives us our premium product. So it makes sense to me that that's why this RPA. Now, again, the 99 thing is so counterintuitive how it sells for more than like lower numbered parallel or cards. But I think someone reached out once, but we'll have to get an expert on and go over like the provenance. Is that the right word? And kind of the history and how this came about. So that's your job. Find someone.
Well, I'm on it. Okay. To wrap up, we'll circle back to where we started. Very soon, we want to have a conversation about our ideas for the 4th and 5th most important or valuable hockey cards in hockey. And in order to do that, we kind of felt like we needed to cover our bases here. So we're planting our flag in Young Guns, Future Rush Auto, Cup RPA, and a 99. We definitely want to hear from you people, though. So if anyone disagrees and has a reason why, please reach out to us and let us know what you think. You can message us on social media. It's probably the easiest to do so. All right, let's roll into Who's Hot. So on Monday, Troy, I gotta, before we start with Who's Hot for this episode, one of our players we highlighted in Who's Hot was Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. And we had a Gong Show listener, Dave Preston, sent us his all hyphenated team, because I think we had a quip about, I wonder who the all hyphenated team would be. And it was so amazing. It made my day. Thank you, Dave. Really appreciate that. And I want to read his all hyphenated team. He said he made a power play unit because he could only really find one D-man.
That's what I love it. I love it that he went with the power play unit. Kind of like how someone went with, what did I do? I would start my team with, and I took 2 left wingers because I would just change their position. That's smart.
But this is different.
Work smarter,
okay,
not harder.
So again, thanks, Dave. Here's his list. At goalie, he has, and I want to see how many of these guys you actually know who they are, Troy. Jeff Drouin Delorier.
Never heard of him.
Early 2000s, I believe. At D, his one D-man is Oliver Ekman-Larsson.
Definitely have heard of.
Yeah, me too. His forwards, now power play unit has 4 forwards. Devonate, or is it Devonte?
No clue.
I don't know if you spelled it. Smith Pelly.
So it's
then he had Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, who was our Who's Hot subject for last week. Now, his next forward, this is a crazy one. This is a double hyphenated. This is crazy. Pierre-Luc Letourneau-Leblanc.
I think that's right. And no, I've never heard of that. I don't know who he is. Did you look him up?
No. How they fit that name on the back of a jersey?
Well, this guy's probably like in the league right now, and he's got 10, 15 points. And we're like, I don't know.
74 goals already. And then finally, Jacob Forsbacka Carlson.
I've heard of Carlson. I've heard a couple of Carlsons before. Not this
Eric
one,
Carlson. So again, we thought it was amazing and had to share. If anyone has a rival list that they can put up there against Dave's for the all hyphenated team, would love to see it because I just think it's awesome. Okay, our first guy in Who's Hot is a hyphenated name, but it's a hyphenated first name. Troy Pierre-Luc Dubois. In the past 2 weeks, the 24-year-old Jets forward has 4 goals, 6 assists for 10 points in 7 games. For the season, he's at 14 goals, 16 assists for 30 points in 28 games played. His career high was 61 points in the 2018-19 season while with Columbus. So he's tracking to have a career year with a current pace of 88 points. If you don't know about Pierre-Luc, he was the 3rd overall pick in 2016 by the Blue Jackets. And this is kind of crazy to think. At 24, he's already played 6 NHL seasons. Or this is
he's on the backside of that aging curve.
I know, I guess. So he was not Shane Wright and actually played a bit when he came out.
Oh, my man. That hurts.
He wasn't playing for the Canadian.
He wasn't finding the 3rd different
junior
loophole
team
that he can get through to get some games in.
From a hockey card perspective, Pierre-Luc, his 2017 Young Gun PSA 10 is a pop 333. Last sold for $56 US on December 9th. It's actually down about 50% in the past 3 months. So if you're a Pierre-Luc supporter, fan, Jets fan, might be a good time to buy one. All-time high for this card, Troy, is 240 US, set in February of 2021 with every other hockey record that's ever existed.
Pandemic highs.
All right, we're going to let you take the next one. Your guy, Charlie Lindgren.
Charlie Lindgren. So big news about Charlie Lindgren. He was named the first star of the week ending December 11th, 2022. Yes, first star of the week, beating out everyone's favorite, Tage Thompson. So I thought that was really interesting.
Very controversial.
Very controversial. So if you don't know who Charlie Lindgren is, he was thrust into the starting role when Darcy Kemper went down with an upper body injury, Josh's favorite, upper body. We're not going to get specific. During his stint at starting, when he was thrust into the role, he went 4-0 with a 1.50 goals against average and a .949 save percentage. And this might be the most important thing about Charlie Lindgren. He is from Lakeville, Minnesota, which is literally right next to where we are broadcasting from. He played high school at Lakeville North and at St. Cloud State. So we got to give props to the Minnesota boy for making good.
Was Ottinger at South or was he at North too?
Ottinger was South.
Were they like at the same time?
I do not believe so. I think Lindgren is older by maybe a couple years, 2 or 3 years than Ottinger.
You know what also really impresses me about how Lindgren is playing right now? I've heard that when the Capitals practice now, they're not allowed to have goalies.
Oh, jeez. Wow, that took me way too long to get it. But boy, I mean, if we leave the pause in, holy cow, that take me way too long. That's a good one though. Now that I get it, you are going to get so much hate mail or hate. I don't know what it is. Hate comments for this episode. About time, because I think the previous 39 episodes, I think I was the one receiving all the hate comments. But no, definitely. So okay, Lindgren this year 6-3-2 with a .910 save percentage and a 2.79 goals against average in 12 games played. So not shabby. Now, what if he keeps staying hot? Darcy Kemper gets no love. Everyone's just like, he was in net. I wonder if there's going to be a little goalie controversy in
I was just going to ask that. Maybe Kemper's upper body injury might have to linger.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm curious how that plays out because Kemper he wins a cup and they're just like, we don't need you. You're too much money. We'll see what happens.
The Rodney Dangerfield of the NHL.
Yep, no respect.
Gets no respect.
All right, Lindgren, 2016 Young Guns, number 473. I'm guessing everyone probably knows. If you know this card, you know it's going to have a huge pop count. PSA 10 has a pop count of 35. There was an eBay buy it now for $25 on December 11th. But this one is very odd because the listing title says it's a Young Gun canvas, but the picture was of regular Young Guns. I don't know what's going on. So I just threw this in there and I said, I'll let you know. That's what it said. The PSA 9 version has a pop of 3. So have fun trying to find that one. And the BGS 9.5 is a pop of 42. I couldn't find any of those, but the raw version, you can get it, I don't know, $2 to $8, depending on the day of the week and which way the wind's blowing. I will say you can find his Young Gun canvas. That seems like it's all over the place. So if you can't find the regular Young Guns, go look for the canvas. Those are kind of out there.
All right, Charlie Lindgren. Our next guy.
Also, before I forgot to say this, Charlie Lindgren, sweet mustache.
Got to respect that.
Yep.
Okay, the other 2005 rookie, Troy, Crosby, now he didn't hit 800 goals the other night, but he's having a really, really good season. And you are a noted Crosby detractor, so we're going to hear from you in a minute as to, your mea culpa and your apology to Sid, the 35-year-old kid who has 17 goals, 21 assists for 38 points in 29 games. I know this isn't a math show, Troy, but that is more than 1 point per game. In the past 5 games, he has 5 goals, 1 assist for 6 points. His 2022-23 pace is now 107 points. Only Wayne Gretzky. Okay, you got to help me with this. Do you know the next?
Is it Johnny?
No, it's not. It's not him. There's one before that.
I don't know. Jean. It's probably French. I'm guessing Jean Rattel.
Jean Rattel. We'll go with that. And Johnny Busick, right?
I think so. Busick, Bychik, someone will yell at us and tell us the right way.
Joe Sakic and Gordie Howe have ever scored 100 or more points in an NHL season at 35 or older. It's pretty exclusive company there. From a hockey cards perspective, of course, the kid is a 2005 Young Gun. His PSA 10 pop 926. Last sold on December 11th for $3,150 US. Over the past 3 months, it's up about 10%. His 2005 SP Authentic Future Watch Auto out of $999, BGS 9.510, last sold for $6,516, down about 25% in the past 3 months. Sometimes the hobby makes no sense, Troy. So you have your Young Gun that's up 10% and your Future Watch Auto is down 25%. But that's kind of what makes collecting cards and following the hobby so much fun, I guess. Okay, on time. Always on time, the struggle bus. Before we kind of hop on and see who's on there today, we have to mention again, what do you call this? Is it coincidence? Is it premonition?
I don't know what it is. It's like the gong show theory. Put someone on the struggle bus and they'll immediately do something to get off the struggle bus.
Yeah, so we talked about Capo Caco on Monday's episode, and what does he do? He immediately scores a goal that night. So if you're a collector or fan of either of these two guys, you're welcome. Because they're going to have probably the games of their lives coming up in the next. Well, not this first guy tonight.
Oh, that's right.
First guy in the struggle was
play the Wild.
Lucas Raymond. He can't break out of the slump tonight because they're playing the Minnesota Wild, and that would be. I hope he scores 50 goals the next game, though. Just not tonight. He's in the midst of a little bit of a sophomore slump. To Through 28 games played this season, he has 7 goals, 9 assists for 16 points. He's on a 47-point pace season. Last year, he finished his rookie year with 58 points, so a little bit of a step back. Over the past 5 games, he has 1 goal and 1 assist. And in the NHL this year, that's pretty bad. Maybe look 4 or 5 years ago, and you're like, well, that's not too bad. Everybody's scoring points, like I don't know what, just scoring a lot. From a hockey card perspective, of course, Raymond is a 2021 Young Gun. His PSA 10 popped 356 Troy Lessel for $75 US. Ouch. A month ago, this was 140. So even in the last month, it's lost about half of its value. His 2021 Young Gun Raw is in the mid-20s right now. But I think the good news here is there's lots of people that believe he's going to have an amazing career, and he's maybe a little bit on the J-Rob under the radar, right? Maybe deal. So if that's kind of your train of thought, you can get in some really nice cards for pretty cheap right now. That's the other glass half full, I guess, perspective. So any thoughts or comments on Raymond other than, well, I'm sure the game's already started and he probably has seven goals already.
I'm sure the game started. Fleury's on his back wondering why another goal went in. Raymond, I think he's fine. Obviously, he's on the struggle bus. He struggled a little, but yeah, I mean, if you believe in this guy, those prices are pretty good, pretty attractive.
Okay, next guy who you might have some comments on, and this is pretty bad.
You're not going to want my comments on him. I have comments on him, and it's probably going to make people mad, but...
Well, good. Then people will be less mad at me. So now we're for sure doing this. Jonathan Quick, the goalie, of course, for the Los Angeles Kings. In the past 2 weeks, Troy, the 36-year-old goaltender has 4 starts, and he's let in 18 goals.
It's a lot.
Is that good?
That's a lot.
Yeah. This equates to a 4.53 goals against average and a .849 save percentage. For the season, in 21 games played, he's 8-8 with a 3.55 goals against and a .882 save percentage. Both the goals against and save percentage for the season are the worst metrics of his 15-year career so far.
Interesting.
Was looking up some articles today, and it sounds like he wants to keep playing, and as a few weeks ago was pushing for a contract extension. I would guess his agent isn't running to the phone right now to make that call for sure. From a hockey card perspective, this is the case. So I was talking about, we were having the Young Guns discussion a few minutes ago. I didn't see a Young Gun for him. There is last year, like an acetate Young Guns that sells for a couple $100. Okay. I don't think in 2007 they had one for Quick. So it seems like the two kind of core rookie cards of his are the 2007 SP Authentic Future Watch Auto, last sold on November 28th for $375. This is up quite a bit actually from its previous sale, but they don't sell real often, so I don't know. The other, I guess, popular Quick rookie is his 2007 Ultimate Collection. Ultimate Rookies out of $499. These sell pretty infrequently too. Last one that sold was in August, and it was a PSA 10 that went for $882 US. One thing I would love to know, if any Quick collectors out there, just kind of after today going down the rabbit hole a little bit, would love to know what you consider his true rookie to be. So go ahead and message us and we'll file that away. Okay, so what's your
he's definitely been a good goalie. I've never been that big of a fan of him. He was, I'm not going to give the year or where I was, but let's just say I went to a USA Hockey goaltending symposium / education thing, and they actually brought out video and showed Quick and things that we don't want young goalies to imitate, using his video of him. And the word might have been...
Can you name something specifically?
They said we don't like some of the things he does because it looks it is lazy. Like that's and that would be like, there's a real problem with youth goalies right now. Like, say of passes from the lefty to the righty, make a cross rink pass, and they'll slide and then stay down and not get up, and it's stuff like that, where it's stuff they were seeing on his video that they showed us. Obviously, they found some footage and showed us it. Obviously Quick's played for the USA. It's like they held it against him, but they were using his footage as an example. I don't know if has he won the Vezina? I think he's been in the finalists a couple times, but I don't think he's won. But he's a good run. I've never been a fan of him. Hopefully he can.
Maybe Father Time is definitely cut up.
Yeah, hopefully someone can kick him out the struggle bus and he finds his footing.
He'll never let a goal in again. No. All right, well, that's it for the struggle bus. Let's move on to hobby news. Like always, we'll start with injury roundup. And the news today is there's no news to report. So that's a good thing.
Yep, no news is good news.
Relative health, other than the guys that are already out. Real quickly, we've referenced this already, but NHL Stars of the Week for the past week. Charlie Lindgren was the first star. Your guy, Troy Tage Thompson, second star. And then William Nylander is the third star. Some other news and notes from the last couple days in the league. Mitch Marner extended last night his point streak to 23 games. That's a lot, Troy. He has 32 points in that 23-game span. This is crazy to think about. His streak started on October 27th.
Wow, that is crazy. Yeah.
From a hockey card perspective, his 2016 Young Gun PSA 10 popped 1,039 last sold for 516. Prior sale to that had been hovering in the prior sales in the 380-420 range. So it's creeping up a little bit. We're starting to get some interest based on his streak. All-time high, just for reference on this card, is 991 US set in May of, you guessed it, 2021. Steven Stamkos has his own 14-game point streak. He's also just scored on Tuesday night his 497th career goal, so he's 3 away from 500. And unfortunately, Troy, the hobby won't care.
Yep, I was thinking that, and I just saw you had in the notes. Yep, no one will care, and we'll just keep going on about our lives, even though we have a guy who scores 500th goal.
Yeah, it's crazy. Still one of the biggest head scratchers to me. Okay, here's one for you. Did you see, I think it was yesterday, that the NBA announced that they renamed, I think, most or all of their postseason awards after legendary players. So the MVP is now something like the Michael Jordan Trophy. You see that?
I did not. I will say I follow zero basketball, but I didn't see this at all. This seems like a big news story.
Yeah, it is kind of, and there's been a lot of discussion around it. So why I wanted to bring it up is, do you think, Troy, that the NHL should do this? Or do you like the tradition of like Lady Byng?
I'm traditionalist. I still hate that they changed all the conference names. I want the Campbell Conference. I want all the the Patrick division. I want all those back. Now I have no idea if those people that those names were named after, if they had something in their history. You know, we kind of find out stuff later on and they say, oh, we got to, rename everything. I don't know if that was the case, but I hated that they changed the Wales. Come on, the Wales Conference? How cool is that? I want all that stuff back. So Troy is not in favor of renaming everything.
I think I'm a traditionalist too, but if they did want to rename their trophies to current players, I guess my suggestion would be just to save time and rename all of them to some form of Connor McDavid. Right? So you'd have the Connor McDavid Trophy for MVP, the Connor McDavid Cup, maybe for the most goals or points, the McDavid plaque for the defenseman of the year, the McDavid Christmas ornament, maybe for the top NHL goalie. And then what's also cool is for second place, you could give everyone the Draisaitl award.
Oh, geez. You are on a roll. Also, I want the Norris division back. I need the Norris division back for the North Stars, Blackhawks, all those teams.
Yes.
Now I'm angry. All right, let's go.
All right. Okay, lastly, Troy, did you see there was a 1952 Topps Mickey Mantle baseball card, CSG8, that just sold at auction for $1.25 million?
I did not see that. I must be just way behind on stuff. No, I did not see that.
So it sold at an auction company called SCP, which honestly I'd never heard of. And it's every day I'm baffled by being pretty involved in the sports card hobby for the last year or two. And it's wow, $1 million card sold at this auction company I've never heard of. Looked them up. They didn't have any hockey cards in that auction, so forget them. But I think the reason to bring this up on a hockey card show is we're seeing SGC, I think, CSG start to get more prominence in the hobby. We see the monthly grading reports. They're grading more and more cards. And although a baseball card, I think what a sale like this does is it builds credibility and confidence into a grading company. When you see, okay, wow, so a card in this holder can sell for more than $1 million. There's going to be a trickle-down effect to that. Do you currently have any CSG cards?
No.
Okay. I have one, a 2016 OPG Platinum Leon Draisaitl, Royal Blue Cubes out of 99, I believe. That's a CSG 10. I got it a while ago for $8 or something like that.
You had to be very careful how you said cubes because I almost heard something else and it made me chuckle inside.
Oh, okay.
Family show.
So, yeah. I think if you're a CSG fan, that's a very good sign.
Yeah, we definitely know CSG has. Then they have some followers that really like their product, and they updated their slab recently, and we've heard good things about that. I have not seen one of the new slabs, or I don't even think I've ever, besides the old green and white one. Is that the green and white one, the old one? I think.
Yeah,
I've seen those, and they looked hideous, but the new ones look.
New ones are a lot better.
Yeah.
Okay, speaking of big cards, the PWCC December Premier Auction ends tomorrow, so we're getting down to the nitty-gritty. I thought it's worth kind of reviewing where things are at because there's a couple really interesting cards that I think could end up being another data point in market health, or I guess a barometer as to the health of the market. Remember, PWCC's Gongshow partner, we're grateful for them. Again, they want to support hockey card content and the hockey hobby, so very grateful and thankful to those guys. One of the things I thought was interesting when I was looking at the Premier is there's only 5 hockey cards in the December Premier out of 282 cards, and I'm like, huh. So I actually went and looked at the other big auction companies because they all kind of have the same, like, whether it be like weekly or
the cadence,
smaller
the
card.
Cadence is kind of similar.
Yeah. And none of the other auction companies have, maybe 6 or 4 cards or something like that too. So I don't know. It's like, are hockey collectors just being stingy with their collections? Nobody wants to part with their sweet cards. I don't know. It's kind of curious that there really are, or maybe December is typically a slower month.
Yeah,
as far as getting
idea.
rid of hockey cards, I have no idea. What I can say confidently, though, is that of all the auction companies, PWCC does have the best cards right now. And so I think they're from a high-end perspective, probably the best indication of where the market is at. So again, real quickly, the 5 cards at PWCC. The first one is a 1979 Gretzky rookie OPG. It's a PSA 9, pop count 91. Last time I checked, the current bid was $80,000. So this card, the last sale was on October 1st for $132,000. Actually, the last 3 sales of the card have been for exactly $132,000, which is kind of wild. $271,830 is the all-time high. So I don't know. This feels like a good market tester card. Like where this ends up will give us a decent, maybe at least data point as to where the market's at. There's also another rookie Gretzky. It's a 1979 Topps PSA 8. So we had OPG PSA 9, Topps PSA 8.5, actually. Current bid is $8,000. So God, what a huge difference. Yeah. 10% of the OPG PSA 9. Pop count's only 28. The last sale on this card was on November 2nd for $9,100. So pretty close to that. All-time high was $20,000, of course, in February of 2021. Okay. My favorite card is, and we talked about this already, it's a 98 Upper Deck double game used jersey auto for Wayne Gretzky. It's his last year. I believe it's the second year that has any Gretzky patch autos in it. The factoid that this card is a PSA 10, which it is unbelievable. I mean, I'm looking at some of the SP Game Used cards I opened, like the thick ones that I opened today, and there's no chance these are a PSA 10.
They just like kind of dinged up and.
Oh yeah, like most of the cards that you open up, and that's why you see a lot of cards of these that sell at PSA 8s for really big money. Or BGS 9s or whatever they might be. So it's a pop 1, of course. It's also not numbered. Definitely, if you're not familiar with this card, go to PWCC, go to the Premier Auction, check it out. They've got great photos. They got videos where they kind of spin it around. And it's just an amazing, amazing card. Current bid right now is $10,000 US. It's already exceeded its all-time high sale, so it'll be kind of fun to see it where it ends up. And it's just never too late for Christmas for me, Troy. That would be
I thought you wanted
amazing.
The Pro Set Cup hologram one.
No. I'd rather have this. Next card is a 1980 OPG Wayne Gretzky PSA 10. Immediately makes me think of our master class on 80s OPG with Sports Card Cartel. Little note on that. We're planning another master class for January. Us and the cartel are going back and forth with ideas. So super excited that he's agreed to come back on. And we're very grateful for that. Current bid on this card, Troy, is $18,000 US. It's a really low pop count, 36. Last sold in PWCC in July for $57,600. So way below right now its last sale. All-time high was $60,400. Set back in, of course, March of 2021. Seems like another market tester.
Yeah, I'll be really curious to see where this one ends because it's that second-year Gretzky card in a 10. So I want to see where this goes. And at 18,000, I don't know how these auctions. I'm actually really watching this one. So tomorrow I actually want to try to watch it too to see if prices jump right at the end, like an eBay auction, or how they work.
So we've had 4 Gretzky cards. The last one is actually not Gretzky. It is one of the Cup cards we've actually talked about. It's 2015, the Cup Connor McDavid, Emblems of Endorsement, dual patch auto out of 15, BGS 9, 10. This card has 2 very, very nice 3-color patches. Current bid is $12,000 US. According to PWCC, is only 3 graded higher. Again, it's out of 15, where it's way less than the out of 99 RPA, going back to our important hockey cards discussion. Worth checking out just from that perspective. All-time high sale on this card, same grade, was in May, this past May, for $28,800 US. So it's a little less than half of that right now with the day to go. Be interesting to see where these shake out. Okay, new product releases. It's SP Game Used release day.
It's a release day.
The Gong Show was at our LCS the minute it opened to get our boxes. We're really excited about that. One thing we did yesterday is did an Instagram poll, because I was kind of curious as to what collectors were thinking about SP Game Used. And we asked basically 4 questions you could choose from. Are you going to buy some hobby boxes? You're going to buy singles maybe later? You're planning to buy into breaks and get your SP Game Used that way? Or are you just going to skip it? You're not interested. 33% was the highest vote getter in its buying singles later, followed by 27% for buying hobby boxes and 27% for not interested. 13% of people said they were going to buy into breaks. So actually a pretty even distribution.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Of thoughts there. So it looks like a little bit of a mixed bag in how people look at SP Game Used. As I mentioned, we got a couple boxes today. We opened one. Before I got home, though, I actually watched a collector open a bunch at the hobby shop I went to. And like I said, it's a big checklist, so it's going to be a tough chase for some of the big hits. One of the things that I've seen is that people are pretty excited about those glass redemptions. And assuming you hit a good player. What's weird is I saw 2 redemptions, and they're both the same one. Not great. It's the Maxim Shushko.
Oh.
Kind of Tahoe.
So was this guy you were watching? Did he open like 10 boxes, or what was he doing?
5.
Okay. It's a good chunk of money.
Yeah. I'm holding the pack I opened. Remember, it's a hobby box. It's a 1-pack box. Goes for about $190 US. I think we paid $180 for it. I'm holding all 6 cards in my hand right now. Kind of give my pros and cons, Troy. I know you're going to open up a box later. Big fan of the designs. I really like the authentic rookie design. That's the retro, which harkens back to 2005 design. I think it's pretty cool. I'm also a big fan of this year's design too. The authentic rookie is pretty angular.
Okay, yeah.
Uses a kind of good mix of foil. Even the patch is not exactly square, so it's kind of interesting. I'm holding an Alexander Holtz kind of red foil patch. So pretty cool cards. On the con side, Troy, don't love the manufactured patches card. Got 2 of those. I got a Miro Heiskanen.
Was it Miro the Hero?
Miro the Hero.
Boy, I don't know about that.
Yeah. And then
you talk to this one. This one's we might have to call in a favor and send this to Upper Deck and just ask. Or it's not even calling in a favor. It's just saying, hey, this seems really odd, but go for it.
So I pulled a Mark Messier, which is pretty cool. And it's called Embroidered in History. And it's manufactured patch, which I don't want to be too critical, but when your product's called Game Used, to have manufactured patches, it just doesn't sit right with me. And I didn't pay a lot of attention because, like I said, I'm not a big fan of manufactured patches. So I'm like, whatever. But then I was looking at the card, and it's a Messier with an Eddie the Eagle patch.
Now, did you read the back? It doesn't say anything on the back, does it?
No, I'll read it to you because I got it in my hands. Congratulations, you have received a trading card with a manufactured hockey patch. Enjoy your memorabilia card.
Okay.
And so I'm really puzzled, and I'm like, what's the reference? Well, how is Messier tied with Eddie the Eagle? And then I'm like, well, isn't Eddie the Eagle at Belfour? But then, what happens? You have this crisis of confidence where I don't want to go and be all declarative and say, this is an error. There's no way this happened. And then some Messier collector that has 9,830 cards and knows the exact history says, well, in 1993, Messier went to a New York City firehouse and was given the honorary name Eddie the Eagle and saved 7 children in a burning building or something like that, and be like, then look stupid. So I threw it on Instagram, of course, and did a whole bunch of research, and it is definitely an error because Eddie the Eagle is Ed Belfour. And
okay, hold on. Are we sure it's Belfour? Because Eddie the Eagle is also that ski jumper guy. There was a movie about him. Now that I'm sitting here thinking about it.
No, but Belfour had the eagle on his helmet.
Yeah. I'm trying to justify why this is on a Mark Messier card. Maybe he was really good friends with the ski jumper guy.
But I kind of like it, I think, because for those that have followed us, you might know that I have the most ridiculous printing plate card ever. I have a OPC Tim Stutzel invisible printing plate where there's almost nothing on it. It's the stupidest 101 card probably in the history of hockey cards. And now I can add to my collection of really dumb hockey cards. I have a Eddie the Eagle Mark Messier patch card. The other thing I was thinking about, Troy, is what bums me out is remember when error cards like in the 80s used to like be really valuable?
And how they were manufactured to be error cards?
Yeah, I don't know about that.
That's true,
but
they've admitted to it.
Oh, it is. Yeah. So I doubt that my Messier Eddie the Eagle card is worth more than 30 cents, but to me, it's priceless, dude. So I have my invisible Stutzel printing plate 101 and my Mark Eddie the Eagle Messier.
Yeah, I was talking to Josh before the show. I looked up the checklist, and so the Messier card in the Embroidered in History set is number 56. Guess who number 55 is? It's Ed Belfour. I'm guessing something got switched. I'm curious. I want to see 57's Gordie Howe, 58's Bobby Hall, 54's Cam Neely. I want to see if we can find any other in that kind of range that have what looks like the wrong thing in it, but who knows?
This better be a one-off because this card is very special to me now. But yeah, so that's SP Game News. We're going to be watching a lot of breaks, getting a lot of feedback from people. I'm sure it'll be a mixed bag. The hits will be a massive if you hit a draft day marks or one of these cool glass cards or a sweet RPA. But there's a lot of the guy that opened the boxes at the card shop, Troy, there was his two autos. I'd honestly never heard of the players.
Were they stickers?
All autos are stickers, which is a little bit of a bummer. I can live with that. The auto that we got was, who was it? Jonah Gadjevich.
Okay, and I don't even think you're guaranteed an auto, right? I think it's an auto or a premium memorabilia.
Whatever that. But so that's probably like the glass redemption or
there you
something
go.
like that would be something like that. So yeah, SP Game Used. All right, and the show as we always do on Thursday with listener mailbag. A little bit light, people. Got to ask us some questions, try to stump us maybe a little bit. First question, Troy, is from Apps Hockey Cards. If Santa could bring you one hockey card to make your Christmas memorable, what would it be? So I'll go first. I still don't have a Kaprizov Future Watch auto, so that's another good gift idea for you, Troy.
There you go. Boy, I didn't even see this question. I will say, I need my 83-84 Pelle Lindbergh. I need a PSA 10 copy. I have a PSA 9, so if Santa brought me that'd be pretty cool.
That would be really
Or
cool.
a Mike Bossy OPG rookie.
That'd be cool as well. Okay, from Discord, 419 Sports Guy. What happened to the weekly pickup section? Didn't there used to be part of the weekly show that where you covered this? All right, try.
Well, I said, yeah, part of this is and we've talked about it a little bit. I've been buying a lot more wax recently. I've been buying Series 1 hobby boxes. I bought some artifacts. Now I got a SP Game Use. So it's definitely been more wax driven. And we haven't shown the cards on. We're starting to put them out on Instagram a little bit more. We got the new stands and everything. And it's kind of funny. You get in the winter and obviously kids are playing hockey. I'm coaching. We have jobs, all this stuff. It's man, hockey card purchasing. I kind of fell off the train. But I did buy recently. I got a Peke Rene 2020-2021 Upper Deck Metal Universe Intimidation Nation, which is really cool looking, and it was super cheap, so that makes me happy. But I think I still actively look every day to see if there's anything out there, but it's I've said this before, I'll put stuff on my watch list. I always bid at the end. That's just how I operate, and I'll be in the middle of coaching a hockey game when that thing ends, and I get the reminder. I'll look at my phone. It's I can't I just don't have time. I can't sit there and watch it and bid and all that stuff. So life kind of.
I think we need a hockey card therapist for you to understand why you refuse to bid on an auction until the last 30
I don't know.
seconds.
It's like, I know it's probably dumb, but that's how I've always been. And it's like, I can't change it. I don't know why.
I'll second the waxing. I think this probably applies to both of us, but I in particular am a huge fan of 2022 Series 1. Mm-hmm. And so I've been buying a lot of that and just having fun ripping it. But I do want to start buying some more singles in the near future. Okay, from Instagram, Vaulted Cards. Why do you think prices for Adam Fox stock are so low for someone who can win the Norris? So I'll take this one a little bit, Troy, and you can kind of add any comments. He's having a fine season so far with 31 points and 30 games played. Not a ton of goals, though, Troy, with 7 so far in the season. And honestly, I'm a big Fox fan, and I've got a number of kind of good cards of his, and so this gave me some incentive to do a little bit of research. And other than Makar for a defenseman, his value is really at the top of active players. So right now, his 2019 Young Gun PSA 10 is going for about $170. So I tried to find other guys you could say, well, what other active defensemen other than Makar might be worth more than 170? Look up Quinn Hughes. It's 106. Looked up Rasmus Dahlin, who's having kind of a big season, right? 111. He just doesn't compare to Makar or, frankly, forwards, which is, I think, more about the history of defensemen in the hobby than anything regarding Fox in particular. And I'll go back to the Makar thing real quick, right? What's magical from a hobby perspective about Makar is that he broke through the stereotype, or is stereotype the right word, or the fact that defensemen just aren't worth a lot, and kind of just like Bobby Orr did. And I would say that probably from a desirability perspective and a value perspective, the hobby treats Fox a little bit more like a defenseman than they do a forward. It's like Roman Josi last year, had like 103 points or 107 points, something like that. Didn't get a lot of hobby love. That being said, Troy, if the Rangers do make a run in the playoffs, you could probably see a bump because he is playing pretty good. They're a little bit of a mixed bag right now from a team perspective. I don't know. Do you have anything to add to that?
No, I think you've covered it pretty well. It's one of those guys. It's like now he's not getting any love, even though he's having a great year. But it's like, do you just need goals as a defenseman to get any love? I don't know. It's just one of those conundrums we're kind of in. And then, Josh, we have breaking news. We are going to have breaking news on the podcast.
Did Lucas Raymond score?
Nope. Different one. We got a note from a Instagram, subscriber. Yeah. Definitely an error card. I worked on this set, and this was intended to have the Moose, and this patch is Belfour's card. So we have confirmation that was an error.
Gotcha.
So
okay.
He replied to our story, so it's. I think it's. You can probably find out who it is. I didn't know. I didn't want to read his name. I didn't know if I had permission.
I got you. Breaking news. We need a breaking news sounder. What's the Anchorman?
Oh.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have urgent and important announcement. Everyone immediately stop what you're doing, or something like that. All right, next question. From Instagram, Papi's Faja. How is Yager at 50 plus still playing? He's on my Mount Rushmore. I'll let you take this one.
I said Yager's a freak of nature is why he's still playing. So if you've kind of followed his career, he decided recently he had to step into the lineup of the team he owns, which is, I'm going to say the name wrong, the Kladno Knights, which is a team he owns in the Czech Extraliga League. The team was hit with widespread illnesses, and I think they said they were down to like 9 or 10 players on Sunday, so he had to actually step in and play. And of course, like the freak he is, he had 2 assists. I did read some interviews with him recently where he said it's getting a lot harder for him to keep playing a physically demanding game. So I don't know how long his streak of playing in a professional hockey game if that will continue, but it's awesome to see. I love Yager. He's just got awesome hair, awesome flow, keeps playing. Played in the NHL till he's 47-ish, somewhere in there.
Yeah. Maybe you two should get an apartment.
We should.
I don't know.
I'll hang out with him. I bet he's got good stories.
Okay, Instagram, Schwab's Hockey Cards. If OPG Platinum ever comes out, shot it up or down. I think it's coming. And is more expensive and considered, quote-unquote, higher-end product, will it raise the price of older years for OPG Platinum? I don't know, Troy. Right now, I'm seeing pre-sales for 2021 OPG Platinum around $200 US. I think it's maybe 10% more than last couple years. But if you look at what 2020 are selling for right now in 2019, they're kind of all in that range. And to me, the long-term value of wax is more tied into the rookie class, right? If any of these years end up with an Ovechkin, Crosby, McDavid, Matthews, Makar type person, well, 2019, of course, has Makar, but the value is just going to go up and up.
Agree. You're much better versed in answering this than I am, and I agree with what you said.
And then there's a bonus question.
I love this question.
Is the new hot magma parallel better or worse than aquamarine? So I'm going to start, and then I'll let you go, Troy. My disclaimer here is I love OBG Platinum. It is definitely one of my favorite sets. But to me, the aquamarine parallel is the dumbest hockey card of all time. It's a hockey player in a fish tank.
Yeah. No, I don't.
I love this set. And I love their parallels. Like, I'm a big fan. I can buy the Cosmic. I can buy
Seismic Gold.
The Seismic.
Yeah.
Well, but like hockey player in outer space. The fish tank thing or the coral reef thing. It just, I can't get by it. And like the Arctic freeze, like that's real. Yeah. Like there's that fits.
So I would say Sunset it's a step above the aquamarine. I don't think by much in my book, but I don't think I like you. I said, I'm not sure anything will top aquamarine just because when I look at it, I think SpongeBob, and I think there's going to be a little SpongeBob in the bottom. I said though, I give kudos again to Upper Deck. They tried something new. It didn't work. Move on. So they have the hot, and now I every time I say this, I think of Austin Powers. I think is the word. He's like magma. And magma. I'm not sure what I think of it. Maybe I need to see it in person, but at least they're trying another new thing, which kudos for. Sometimes things don't work and we move on.
I agree. And I think people like it. And if you do, there's probably lots of things that I like that you would think are dumb. So I just can't it's the one thing that puts me all in knots. But okay, that's our show for this Thursday. Thank you very much for listening. If you like this episode, please leave a rating and review on Apple, Spotify, or whatever podcast app you listen to us on. If you love the show, and how could you not, and want to support us and want to help us grow and chat with us on the regular on the Hockey Cards Gongshow Discord server, please consider a $5 a month donation via Patreon and join our out of 99 support level tier. You can go to the Patreon website, search for Hockey Cards Gongshow. There's a link in the show description. There is a link in our Instagram profile, and we would very much appreciate that. Follow us on social media, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Twitter, YouTube. Very big thank you to our sponsors and partners, PWCC and Stand Up Displays. And Troy, the Hockey Cards Gongshow Podcast is a production of Dollar Box Ventures, LLC. Have a great rest of the week, an awesome weekend, and we'll see you all on Monday.